You're listening to the Earth Experience podcast.
I am Dorcas Adu Adjei. I like to be called Miss Wisdom because I love wisdom and I'm in the pursuit of being wiser every day. I lost weight recently, and because of that, I've gained huge following on social media, and I'm currently helping women and people all around the world to lose weight too. Aside that, I have my degree in sociology and I do have a certificate in business management. And yeah, I'm here in Toronto, seeing where life will take me. Actress and a model on the side. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's right. You been a model and actress on the side. Okay, so you mentioned that you were getting a lot of traction because of your weight loss journey. What inspired that? Did you one day tap into like this thought, like, I don't want to be this weight anymore? Was it did it start from when you were younger, or what was that experience?
Thank you so much for that question. So it started after university. That's when I gained weight. And mostly when I go to social gatherings, the people that know me from when I was young, they are always talking about my weight. They are like, oh, girl, you've gained so much weight. And it got to a point where people made it look very funny because the comments that they threw at me was very hurtful. They could say things like, stop eating, like someone would stop eating, you've gained so much weight. And I knew myself and I knew I wasn't even eating that much. So those things really got to me. But all this while, I always thought natural weight loss was impossible. I thought for me to lose the weight, I had to go through Ozempic or do surgery. And I didn't have the money for that. So there was one time I was just fed up. I was completely fed up. I didn't know what to do. There were times where I did start weight loss. I started running, but I quit after some time. I couldn't keep it up. And there was one time where I just cried, and I think I posted it. I cried and I told God to help me lose weight. And a woman walked up to me. I was working in Canadian Tire. By then, a woman walked up to me and told me that, hey, girl, I lost weight by doing intermittent fasting. And I was like, what is that? And she said, I ate in an 8 hour window from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I said, I can do that because already I'm not a breakfast person. I can do that. And she said, I also went for 30 minutes walk every day. And after that, I started seeing results. And I said, I could do that. So I just run with that. And the reason why mostly I attribute this to God is because I had previously started this on my own and I was never able to do this. But after that prayer, when the woman told me that it came with a certain sort of strength, it's like it was backed by something. Because the way I just received what she said, and then I just started working on it right when I go home. That night, I did my first workout, my first 2 minutes workout. It was so funny. I couldn't even lift my legs, girl. But yeah, so and I did more research. What foods can I eat to lose weight? What is intermittent fasting? What is walking to lose weight? So I started doing that. I started practicing it and I saw the results. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you're saying that the prayer really activated for you and you attribute a lot of your success to your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about like your belief system. Like what is your core belief system, or what do you find yourself defending the most as it relates to what you believe in?
So for me, I'm a firm believer of always being positive. Yes, I do believe in God. I also believe in the power of words. I also believe in being positive and always imagining big. I believe in the power of imagination. And I think most of those things came out from my relationship with God because as he created the universe, he created it with words, right? So I believe that creativity goes hand in hand with words and with imagination. So that's my firm belief, always being positive, always imagine where you want to get to. Even though I used to be big, I always imagined myself like in a slim body. Every time I looked in the mirror, I never accepted the way I looked in the mirror. When I saw that big girl, I'm like, no.
Who was that?
No, I know. Since I was so delusional. Like when I look in that mirror, I'm like, no, it's the mirror. I'm not that big. And anytime I saw dresses, I just imagined myself in that sexy outfit. I'm like, I'm gonna come for you one day. Yeah. And I don't know, I always told people that I was slim. I know I was just trying to fight my age or anything, but I also feel like it kind of contributed in a way. And yeah, so I'm a firm believer of always being positive, of always using the power of your imagination to get what you want. Always see yourself, visualize yourself having it. Like, what is it? You want to be a musician, see yourself singing to the crowd. Be positive. It doesn't cost anything to be positive. I always tell people, it doesn't cost anything. Yeah, you put in the work, all right. I do believe 100% in putting in the work, but just add a little bit of positivity to it. Just add it. What does it cost? Just add a little bit of imagination to it, and just add a little bit of speaking right to it. Wake up every morning and say something like, I'm losing the weight, or I am that big star, I'm that big musician. And yeah, it's going to take you where you want to go.
When you think about the prayer and its activation, what is your response to any other prayers that you've had in your life and you maybe haven't got the result as soon as possible? Or maybe I'm like assuming, have you ever had a prayer that was unanswered that you responded to in a particular way?
Yes, I still do. I have so many prayers that are unanswered. Sometimes I still question God, but I always believe that He does things in the right timing, and I'm trusting that in the right time all things will work out. Because for me, before I prayed that prayer, I felt like God had given up on me. I felt like maybe I'm not at a good place with him, because it's like I had not really seen him do anything in my life. Okay, well, he's done things, but I also felt like there were things I had prayed about that I hadn't seen him do for me. So even when I was praying that prayer, I prayed that prayer with so much anger. I went to him as a daughter. I was like, God, if you are really the creator of the universe, if you really created heaven and earth, this is the prayer I pray. If you really created heaven and earth, then create a new body for me. Then help me create a new body. That prayer it was the most aggressive prayer I have prayed in my whole entire life. Girl, I was on the floor. I remember bare on the floor, and I had this Bible. I don't even remember what I was reading in the Bible, but like religiously, we are told that when you're praying, you have to have your Bible. I just opened the Bible, and I was just sitting bare on the floor, and I was weeping. I was like, God, like, you created the universe. So what is weight loss that you cannot do? Help me lose the weight. And I didn't see anything happen until after 2 months, when that woman walked to me. And let me tell you, when I prayed that prayer, right? That the following day, I started to do something. I went to Walmart. I got workout equipment. I started running. I started trying to eat healthy. Girl, I gave up. I gave up after 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Because I felt like, oh, I've prayed. I'm just going to do it. But I gave up until that woman walked up to me. And I always said, that woman, it was backed with something. Like, that woman came with a special grace, because the moment she was just passing by, and she just came to me and she just said it. This is what I did. And the moment she said that, something changed in me. Something. And I knew that something that changed in me came from God, because already I had started and I failed, and I ran with it and it became successful. But yeah, there are still other things that I've prayed, but God helping me do this makes me believe that He's still with me. And in the right time, everything will work out. Everything. He's not giving up on me. And just as He has helped me lose weight, all the other things that I've asked from Him, He's going to see it come through.
Why do you think this was so important to you? Like, why was the weight loss so important to you? Like, what were the ideas that were taught to you, or what were your own narratives? Because I know you talking about positivity and you were going through the mirror, like, that's not me. But what was wrong with that being you? If that, that image in the mirror just happened to be big, was it something that you taught? Did you know innately that being big it was something wrong about it? Or just kind of talk to me about, like, why was it so important for you to pray that prayer with so much passion?
Okay. So for me, I wasn't feeling healthy. I have never had an issue with being big. In fact, like, sometimes I do really admire big girls that like dress up. I do really admire that. Yeah. So, and it's something that I never really even thought of, like, oh, my weight is a problem. My weight is that bad. Never. It never occurred to me until I started not feeling healthy. So what happened was my energy went down. I started getting severe headaches. My blood pressure went up. Anytime I went to work, I couldn't stand for long. I had to take so much breaks. And if I don't eat within a certain period of time, I was constantly there sweating or panting. My breath was always so high. I was always panting and everything. So it was about my health. So that was what took me from the stage of wanting to do something about it. But also, aside the health, I wanted to crack weight loss. I wanted to solve that mystery. Yeah, for me, I was like, wait, this weight loss thing, is it possible? Let me discover it. Because especially where I come from in Africa, a lot of people don't know that you can lose weight naturally. My mom saw me lose weight and she was like, girl, I never knew this was possible.
Wow.
I never knew this was possible. I see people do it on social media, but I never knew it was real. So I wanted to crack that mystery and I wanted to help people. I was like, if I can do this, I'm going to help people all around the world to do the same thing because I know how it feels like being heavy, not feeling healthy or not feeling confident enough and trying to do everything to lose weight and nothing seems to be working. So I was like, okay, I'm going to solve this mystery and I'm going to bless the world with whatever comes out of it. I'm going to impact the world with whatever comes out of it. So I think that's one thing that keeps me going. The fact that I had the world to impact with my weight loss journey. So anytime I felt like giving up, I wrote it somewhere. Anytime I felt like giving up, I'm like, no, Dorcas, you are on the hands to solve this mystery so that you can help others. And I've already done that. I did a free weight loss challenge and I had thousands of people losing weight. I couldn't post a lot of them, but I did post a little bit of the results on my page. So many people have lost weight through that. So yeah.
That's so cool. And I love how you worded it because I've been through this conversation more than once. And this is the second conversation that I had, at least on the podcast, about attributing the weight loss to God. And it's so interesting because it does feel like there's this big code to crack, especially when it comes to people like investing so much money on a weight loss pills or investing so much time and feeling like they're putting so much energy into it, but they're not seeing a result. And some of the theories that I've seen around it is like, even some of the food that we're eating, it's causing some things to like not function properly, but you really don't know how to identify what is what. They say everybody is different, but then they also make it seem like it's supposed to be so easy. Like a person will say like count your calories or just walk, and it's so beautiful that the woman said like, walk 30 minutes a day, and she kind of gave you these very simple ideas to do, and then people feel like they do that same thing and it's just not working. I sincerely feel like people are going about this and it's not working for them. But there's another group of people that's like, you just got to do this. You just do that, like without understanding, like maybe the person really is trying,
Yeah.
And I think that in the entire conversation about food and weight loss, I think it is a really big code to crack because people talk about it so much. They're either very like motivating them about it, they're inspiring, or they're like mean about it. And I was wondering, like, what is it that people want to accomplish with this, like, fat versus skinny journey? Because sometimes I would think, like, oh, a person can be, like, have a lot of weight and still be successful and do these great things. A person can be small and still have health problems and probably really mean. But a person can actually also eat healthy, be fit and still be a mean person. So I'm like, what do we want to accomplish, with this weight loss journey? And what I'm hearing from you is something that I heard from a book. It's like Think and Grow Rich. And it was talking about knowing how you want to serve people. Like you have to like kind of put that input first. And the fact that you said like, I want other people to actually also get the results from there. Like I have a theory that if we approach it, whatever our dreams and desires are, we approach it with we want to give back to people. I think that's when like things open up for you. But
That's true.
I don't know. I gotta keep talking to people to see if I still hear
That's
this.
true, girl. You're right. I love what you just said. Yeah.
I'm going to navigate to this video that I saw on your page that made me reach out to you, and we're going to go through it together. I'm going to be taking notes. I know you probably already seen it before, but I'm going to come back to this. And it's this thing that I'm starting where it's like, how an author comes to a book club meeting and they all read the book and they're like, we have questions about it.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing on social media.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through that now, and I'm going to play it. So you're going to be watching yourself for a little bit. So hopefully it's not too awkward.
Okay.
All right, let me.
There's so much negativity in the world. Sometimes I do see videos, I go under the comment section and people have commented positively, but you see that one negative comment here, and you see that it has over 500 likes, it has over 1,000 likes, it has over 54 replies, just that one negative comment. And it really depicts the kind of world that we live in, that people are more drawn towards negativity, which is so sad. It's so sad. And even The one thing that really gets to me is, let's say a woman posts something and you see another woman unashamedly mocking the woman or making fun of what they said or what they're doing in the video, insulting them, looking down on them. It's so sad. Sometimes if you don't have anything to comment, you don't have to comment. Yeah. For me, my comment section, I feel like it's more appropriate to ask, did you use Ozempic? Or it's more appropriate to ask a question than for you to just assume. Because like people come and they're like, oh, it's Ozempic. It's like, no way she did this. The fact that you can't do it, or the fact that you don't have the motivation, the drive, and the discipline to do that doesn't mean you just have to assume that everybody did Ozempic. I said that if I had the money for that during that time, I would have gone ahead to do it. I prefer you ask a question, and if I see it, I would answer that, for you to just state blank, like you know me. Meanwhile, you don't even know me. Like you just state it, oh, she did this, or it's not that, oh, it's not that. We live in a bitter world, man. We live in a bitter world. I can't wait for God to come so that all of this will end.
Okay. So before we get started, I'm just
Shy.
well, you're an actress, so you gotta act like you're not shy.
I know I need to put on my game face.
Indeed. So, was there a comment or a particular comment that made you get up and say, I'm going to record this video? Or did you see like a theme of comments about like maybe Ozempic or something like that? Or did you just kind of like walk into this video with all the comments that were coming through?
So I think it's all the comments that were coming through. I've already had so much already. The first time I posted my first video, that's when that was somewhere in June. That was when a lot of negative comments came, but I just decided not to say anything about it. But I just noticed that it kept coming and coming, especially when I posted the video that I wrote the caption. I was like, I asked Jesus to help me lose weight. And I knew it. I knew the moment I put that Jesus there, people are going to come for me. And that's the truth. I can't hide it. It's like literally I called on him and he helped me. So people who were commenting things like liar. And I think people liar. What has Jesus got to do with this? Like they always don't tell us the truth. Ozempic, so many things. And also there were other blogs that posted my videos. And when you go there, oh my God. Sometimes people comment and they forget that we are humans, right? They have to be more cautious. They have to at least put a little bit of sympathy in the things that they do type. People type as if we are just like AI people, AI generated people on social media. They just post anything just like that and they just go away. Sometimes you go to their profiles and you look at their faces and you see that they have nothing going on in their life. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. Yeah, so I think it's just an accumulation of all the videos that made me say it. But I've always done videos like that. I always talk about negativity. I don't like negativity. I hate negativity. But you can't control it because it's sad, because I do believe in this saying that says, hurts people, hurts people. In this world, a lot of people are traumatized based on their upbringing, based on experiences. So people are on social media with so much pain, with so much hurt inside them, with so much hurt. And then they just come and they pour it on you. They just pour it on the world. Because mostly I do check profiles. If you comment, I will come and check your profile. And all the people that comment negative, when I go to their profile, I now understand why they put that there. Because from their profile, from their bio, from the things they do, I just get to understand them. And I'm like, no wonder you type something like this. Because you could see that, I don't want to say anything, but they have their own stuff going on. Yeah, so an accumulation of so many videos.
I think that that's one of the things that stands out to me is just our responses to like the most negative things or the stories that are the worst stories that gets the most attention. And I'm curious if there are people who do like the positive content, because it's like we say that we don't like these things, but we give so much attention to it, right? And why this video stood out to me is because there is something weird. And I'm like, in my own world where like I'll go to a page and someone will say something like crazy or maybe even something really simple, nothing, and it's like 1,000 likes. And I'm like, and I'll say something I feel like is very like meaningful, and maybe this is just me being in my own little world, thinking I'm
Girl,
saying
you're right. You're
good.
not in your own world. You are 100% right.
And I'm like, so no one saw this, no one, but everyone liked this hate comment or this mean comment. And my theory is like, is it really us or is it like the algorithm? So there's two things, right? There is the fact that we feed it something, right? If we keep feeding that we want this type of content, then that's what we receive. But my other theory is that maybe we don't want to consume it as much, but it's just being fed to us, and that's what we're responding to. Like,
Yeah.
and one thing that I try to exercise throughout my content is like whenever something stands out to me, like, why am I interested in this? Like, what does it teach me? Do you ever have moments where you see content online that makes you think about yourself and maybe a way that like inspires you, it makes you passionate, like it's something that you want to stand up for, or anything of that you have a story or example of?
Yeah. I do see a lot of contents like that. I can't really place emphasis on one. Yeah, but yeah, I do see a lot of.
Yeah. So when it comes to you being on the internet now and having your passions and dreams, what is your next goal? Do you want to like be in social media, or are you trying to move that into acting? Like what is your dream?
Yeah, thank you for that. It's always acting first for me. I have loved acting. And so for now, I want to focus more on acting, but I still want to help people with losing weight. So I'm still trying to put together means where I can balance the two to coach people with weight loss and also to pursue my acting. But it's always been acting for me. I want to pursue acting more. So I think I'm going to draw more towards acting, but also I would find the balance between the acting and then helping coach people.
What does it feel like to go? I'm not really sure. Like the video about Jesus helping you lose weight or like sharing your weight loss goals, just have a flood of people come to your page and then you experience this new like internet fame, or did you already kind of have a following and then it just grew?
Okay, so I do have a video that went viral. I think on my page right now it might have like 3.9 million views. There's a video that I think that didn't have any Jesus. The Jesus I just posted like last 2 days or last 3 days, I think. But before that, I did have a video, and that video was all over. There were blogs that were posting it, and people are still posting it. So that is what drew the people in. But before that, just in June, I had 1,000 followers. Yeah, I don't know if you watched a video that I posted. I posted a video and which I made somewhere in April, and I had to take break off social media. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, so I took break off social media. Around that time, I think I had like 900 followers on Instagram. But there was a time where I just became very dependent on God because I had so much going on in my life. I was like, God, it's just you and me at this point. And I just felt within me that I had to take a pause because I've always believed there is something big for me in the media space. I do believe that with all my heart, but I don't know how to bring that to light. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a step back. So I deactivated all my social media. I think I did that 1 week or 2 weeks. And then hopefully I came back. Nothing really happened. And then somewhere in June, I started posting my weight loss content. And then boom, in 1 week, I had 10,000 followers. In the following 3 days after the 1 week, 15,000. And now like 20,000. I'm like, this is it. So, that also teaches me that sometimes when we pray, we expect immediate miracles. I do believe in that 100%. Because there have been times where I've prayed and immediately I got the answer. But sometimes it can be months, it can be years. But just keep trusting God. Just rest. There's a time where you have to rest in your faith. Like you have to rest in your trust in the Lord. Okay, I have told him, I don't see it, but I'm resting in his peace. I'm resting believing that he's still working out things for me behind the scenes. After the 2 weeks of me taking a break from social media, I didn't see any April, May, June. I didn't see anything until June when I started posting my weight loss content. And that was the same with my weight loss. I prayed, I didn't see anything till after 2 months, a woman walked up to me. So I would say that always let's learn to like rest. So you're resting in his ability to do it for you, right? Because I think people as in they forget to rest. Sometimes you just have to rest knowing that you've told God and he would eventually show up for you at the right time.
How did you know that you were resting? I've seen a few scriptures about rest.
Yeah.
And I even seen scriptures about ye of little faith and like increase your faith. In my perspective, I'm like, how do you know that you're doing it right? I need to do like if it's only the faith of a mustard seed, like, like I just feel like I gotta like split hard.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, I'm curious, and you know, from other people's perspective, of like, how did you know that you were finally resting? Because it seems like you wanted to have this goal before it happened. Did you ever put the prompt out before? Like you had that passionate prayer, but did you ever actually ask God for help with your weight loss before?
I think I did, but it wasn't very like official. Maybe like it's just a passing thought in my mind, but I didn't really like sit down to like the way I had to sit there on the floor, cry with my Bible. I hadn't done it in that way, but maybe it could be me walking. I'm like, God, please help me lose weight. Or like something happens. I'm like, God, please help me. You know, it was just that way. But until that night that I really went down and just prayed that prayer, that's when everything changed.
Was your heart posture a little different? Like, what do you think was unique about that particular prayer? Did you just have like a lot of passion? Were you fed up? What stood out to you about now this is a different feeling and a different approach?
I think it was passion in that prayer. There was so much passion. I put so much passion, sincerity in that prayer. I think that is what made it stand out. And you know, there's the scripture that says God checks the heart. He sees the heart of man. So I think I put so much emotions in that prayer. I prayed from the bottom of my heart. And I prayed, I was like, Father. That was the first time I called him. I was like, Father. I was like, Father. I just called him Father. And I felt it. It's like, this is my dad for real. Like, Father, help me, you know? So it was just like, you know, there's a scripture that says the fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. So when you pray with so much sincerity, definitely it's going to work out. So I think that's what worked out for me.
You know, prayer is a really interesting topic. And faith itself is an interesting topic. That's why I like to talk about it a lot. But when I think about like, there are so many prayers that support, like, if you do this, this will happen. And like, even like the fervent prayer that you said, and like, or asking you shall receive. And now it seems like we're in this space where a lot of people are questioning their faith because they don't really get an answer. And I make room for those questions because I've also had those questions. Like, I don't understand why when I'm reading it this way, it doesn't feel that way. And then you get, I'm not sure if you actually tap into this world, but there are a lot of people who are deconstructing and they are asking questions and they're like going to different places to get their answers. And one of the questions that I've been asking people often is like, for those who do believe in God, why? Why would you say you believe in God?
Wow, that's such a very wonderful question. Let me think. So for me, I have seen things happen personally. I have experienced things that someone called God, and I have seen that happen. And based on that, I believe there is God. So I've had so many instances where I had to call on God, and even most of the time when I pray, I do pray. Sometimes I pray like this: if there is God. And I like to specify my God because there is so many gods. Someone can say God, but it's a stone. Someone can say God, but it's water. So I say my God is Jesus. So the first thing is, which God are you praying to? Yeah. If it is Jesus, for me, I always tell people like, try him, personalize it. Because if you try him, he would show up. Okay, so Jesus, if you are real. And these are the kind of prayers I pray. I know I believe I've been a Christian for so long, but sometimes I pray and I pray like this too. I'm like, Jesus, if you are real and if you say you are who you are, then let this happen for me. Let this happen for me. I want this. I want to see my mom get healed. I want to see my relationship get better. If you are God and if you are real and if you love me, and you have to be sincere about the prayer. You just don't pray it raw. You have to pray it with sort of emotions and genuineness, okay? And just pray that prayer and he will come through for you. Sometimes it might not be immediate, but he would find his way around. And you see, God knows everyone and he knows how to get to everyone. There are people that he has to bring friends into their life to answer that question. There are people that they have to sit in a certain Uber to get that answer. There are people that they have to be at a particular job job place to meet that person that will hand over their miracle. But trust me, like if anyone is going through anything, I'm just going to say like they shouldn't give up. Jesus is real. He has helped me through so many things. I believe in him because I have personally experienced him and experienced him doing good things in my life. And I've experienced him hearing me out. And yes, there are still things that I'm still trusting him to do. But with the little that I've seen him do, I'm trusting that there is more he can do. So let's just hold on to him and let's just try him and see where he takes us to.
So the weight loss prayer and seeing the results, I know that that was really impactful. Do you have any other experiences that stand out to you? Like, did you ever have like spiritual encounters or like any spiritual things, or has it always been kind of like on the physical realm when you see God come through for you?
Oh yeah. So like yeah, I do have a lot of spiritual encounters. So I think the most one is then this is gonna be we're gonna go deep into church. Okay,
Let's go. Let's go.
yeah. So for me, spiritual encounters. Well, I wouldn't say I have seen God like face Jesus or no, I haven't. But well, I have spoken tongues, and I think that's very spiritual because one time I was just praying and these words just came to me. And I just started speaking those words. I have experienced a miracle. I was young and I was young in junior high school. I had a friend of mine who couldn't talk. She became dumb. She couldn't speak. And me together with a friend, and we were really young and we didn't really know what we were doing. We prayed together. So the three of us held hands. And I remember all what I was doing was just singing in that time. I was singing and we were praying and we we're trusting God for healing for my friend. And in that instance, right after the prayer, I was just singing and my friend started talking. So that was also it was a very supernatural miracle that I saw. I also saw my mother pray for my grandmother. There was a time my grandmother passed away. And then my mother just took water and sprinkled it on my grandmother. I said, in the name of Jesus, wake up. Jesus, wake up. I'm not going to lie. I was a child. Jesus. And my grandma rose up again. And she didn't die in that she's passed now, but in that period, she was able to wake up again. So I have seen those things. And there have been times where I have prayed. And after praying, I feel peaceful. And I think that is also very supernatural. Times where I have so many thoughts in my mind, like so many thoughts from the enemy. You are not good enough. You won't amount to anything. But the moment I pray or the moment I say in the name of Jesus, I cast you out, I start to feel peace. And that alone is something supernatural. There have been times where I have listened to sermons. I have listened to Bible preachings. There's this man that I really listen to, Joseph Prince. He's amazing. Anytime I listen to him, I feel relieved. So all of these are very supernatural circumstances for me.
That moment that you mentioned, the peace that comes over you, it's very difficult to describe, almost probably how someone might describe rest to me. But the peace, because it feels like it feels like it's actually happening. And I think we as individuals, we know when something is like off. We know like, oh, I might say that I'm doing this, but like in your body, your mind, like you feel a certain way. Like for instance, I'll give an example. Like I used to be in an organization and like whenever something was happening, they always like said, oh, like, that was good. That was good. And you had to cheer it up because the person on stage is like, amping you to cheer it up. And I'm thinking in my head, like, you guys have to be lying. But it's something we all knew was a bad experience, this one thing. But like, it's this group thing where you can feel it. So I know that like when I sincerely say like, I feel peace, I am sincerely saying that I feel peace. But for me, it was something that happened in my adulthood, even though I grew up in the faith. The actual this feels real didn't happen into my adulthood. You practice Christianity, and some of the engagements that I've had, people are now shifting to African spirituality. There's even some theories or perspectives about like what people follow in Africa, but you've leaned into Christianity. Like, what's the storyline there? Like, does your family always been Christian? Did they ever practice any African spirituality? Do you have any understanding about it? You can go wherever you want to go from there.
Okay, thank you. So for me, my family has always been Christians, but my belief system really started when I went into university and I joined a particular church, and they taught me so much about Christianity being your relationship with God. And I think that is what's helped me because my whole life, I thought like Christianity was like a religion where it's like you had to perform so many religious activities. You have to please God. You have to do this. You have to do that. But they changed my narrative about Christianity, where I got to understand that it's rather more of what Jesus has done for you and you accepting what he has done for you and you being conscious of his love for you, of he dying on the cross for you, his forgiveness and everything, and walking in that faith. So when I got to understand that Christianity was more of your relationship with God, I saw Christianity in a whole different level, and my relationship with God grew and became better, because then I got to understand that, oh, so God is not angry at me. He's rather pleased in me because of what Jesus has done on the cross. And it's not even about what I'm doing, but I rather have to accept what he has done and through that perfect my life through everything he has done on the cross for me. So I think the understanding of Christianity from the fellowship I joined in university really shaped my whole narrative about your relationship with God, and it helped me love God more based on what I previously knew. Because previously, the African, I don't know, but mostly the African Christianity might be more of so religious. Like you have to do this, you don't have to do that. You have to dress this kind of way, you don't have to do this, you know. But if I don't understand anything, I always pray. I told God to like just lead me to the truth. You know, he knows me so well and he should just lead me to the truth. And luckily, I got to join that fellowship. And yeah, my relationship with him became better. And I got to understand that it's all about what Christ has done for us on the cross, and sharing his gospel and walking in his love. And yeah, I think basically, yeah.
When you adopted the ideas from the church from university, were you at any point insincere with your relationship with God? Did you feel like it was always there? Or did you have a moment where you were trying to figure out something and then that kind of gets you over the hurdle? And what I mean by that is like when you transition to this new understanding about your relationship with God, was it only that you previously thought that everything was performative that made you kind of feel a disconnect, or were there other like scenarios around church and your experiences in church that gave you question or pause?
Oh yeah, so I think I always thought it was performative, like I had to do things. And yeah, and it made me always feel guilty, like I was trying so hard not to sin, you know. So like if I do something like I'm like, oh, maybe the way I'm walking is sinful. Like then I'm like, God, please forgive me. Oh, God is angry with me because I walked this way. God is angry with me because I spoke to this person. They say, oh, in my mind, I think I'm angry with this person. God. So it's like all of it, all those times, I always felt like God wasn't pleased with me because I was trying to do things with my own strength and not rather realizing that it's rather about like not me acknowledging what Jesus has done on the cross and knowing that it's rather my relationship with the Holy Spirit, but I was rather trying to do it based on works, right? So I think that was it. It was so bad at that time, and until I got to know Jesus more and got to experience him more. That's when my relationship with God became better, because now I started working more in love. When you try to do things with your works, one thing I've noticed about people that try to please God with themselves and with the things they do is that sometimes these people they tend to become very judgmental. They don't have a lot of love. I don't know, I start to be corrected. Some of them, they don't have a lot of love because first of all, they are not even receiving the love God has given to them. And it's when you receive the love, that's when you're able to give out that love. So and then it's like you see everybody to be unrighteous. You see everybody to be wrong. You don't see people the way God wants you to see them. Because now when you come to the other side, which is Jesus, you begin to realize how much you've been forgiven, how much, regardless of all the things you've done, God still calls you righteous. And based on that unmerited favor, unmerited grace that you are receiving, it humbles you and gives you the ability to give out more love and to also give people more forgiveness and more grace. So I think that is the balance for me, and that's what I learned from that.
When you started this relationship with Jesus, how did you know you were going in the right direction? Was it something that stood out to you? That I hear you talk about love and understanding that was there any shift, or was it a gradual just maturity in Christ that happened like overnight, or was there something that shifted for you where you knew like I am actually in a relationship with Jesus? And I think the reason why I want to point this out, because your story is so profound when you talk about performing in the church. I hear that often, that there's either like a group of people who tell children like this is how you're supposed to do it, and they have really strict rules, and that's where that stems from. And then there are a group of people who are, and I'm not a scholar or anything, I just
No, you're good. You're good. You're right.
listening to stories, but then there's a group of people who make up the rules themselves because of what it seems like, right? Because everyone else is pretending and trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. They also are pretending and figuring out. And I know that there's so much to combat religion about, or churches, but I sincerely think people are trying their best, and people really just want to have meaning to life. And the reason why I lean into these topics so much and have so many questions about it is because I do believe in the miracles and stories that aren't being shared enough. Like, we hear about the people who've been hurt, and those are very important stories, but I believe that there are people who sincerely have great relationship with God and have experienced miracles and have these stories that maybe they are being told, but if they're told in the places where people already get hurt, they might not, feel sincere. And then the other part is like, just like that woman had came to you earlier, part of like what I would consider what I want to do is just have people talk a little bit more about this, right? About like what works and how it works, just in case that's the story that's needed for someone who comes across this, even if it's like one view one day, and they're like, oh, like that's what she did, and they feel it. Because I've been a person who's been online and came across a story that someone experienced something that was similar to me, and it was a relief, and I just feel like there's so much power in us sharing our stories and being sincere about both what it is that we truly didn't get and what it is that we truly like hold on to when we feel like are sincere. And I think everybody's going to have their journey, but like on a journey, I hope that we bounce into the people that we're supposed to, just like that lady. But that took a long time to get to this question. And it was about like that relationship with Jesus. And I guess I'll share a little bit too. But I knew that the relationship with Jesus was existing because I was being more like authentic and sincere about my journey, and I started to ask the hard questions in a way that was like I wanted to receive it, not be against it. Like, when you kept saying like like I feel like that is a sincere question. Like, that's what we want to know. Like, God, everyone is looking out in the world and have the same question. God, if you're a God, why does slavery exist? If you're a God, why are the children doing this? If you're a God, why are, these things happening to people? Why, so that is a valid question. And I'm wondering, wait, maybe we're supposed to be more sincere and authentic with God about these things, because it shows that we are human, that we care about those
100%.
things. So is there anything that you would share with anybody about like what it meant to have a relationship with God? And there's one last note, because my mind is just going over, because there's a scripture that's coming to mind right now, popping in my head, and it's about, there are people who want to say, I did this, like I used to about the work, I did this, and Jesus would say that he didn't know them, right? And I think that's the most interesting thing, because we do see people in churches working, doing the thing, but like him saying like he didn't know y'all and y'all thought that y'all did, like that is something to really highlight. Like, it makes all of this makes sense. All of the deconstructing, all of the questions about God makes sense, because it looks like on a surface level that people who are claiming God or claiming Jesus or claiming Christianity should be a certain way. And we're so caught up in the title that they attach themselves with instead of like the fruit, right? Or like, what does it mean to love, and what does it mean to have a relationship with God? All right, I'm done.
Girl, free. I love it. I
don't know.
Wow.
Me, I feel like we all have some answers. I really do. I feel
Yeah.
like we have answers that we're supposed to talk about a little bit more. Do you have anything that you would share about what having a relationship to Jesus feels like, or how would you best describe it?
Wow. So first of all, it's everything. Having a relationship is everything. So it's just like how you would have a boyfriend, right? And then that kind of relationship you would have with someone you love. That's the same way that relationship is. And this relationship is more honest, and it has no faults. At least human will fail you. But having a relationship with Jesus is like having a relationship with the perfect one. So I would say that the same way you would treat your love interest, give that same treatment to Jesus. Talk to him about everything. Show him your vulnerable side, just like you said. Someone told me something, and I think it really helped. It was like, when you're talking to Jesus, right? Tell him everything. Like, he knows it already, right? But just say it as blunt and as bare as you can say it. And just be honest. Okay, God, like, I want to stop this so bad. I can't stop. Jesus, help me. That is the kind of relationship I have with him. I have that relationship with him where I will go to him for anything. Anything, especially like when I'm getting nervous, when I'm like, Jesus, I'm getting nervous. I'm not getting nervous. You need to do something real quick. Like, that's that kind of, and I've gotten to a point where I've noticed that he's the only one that will come to save me. Like, whew, he's the only one. Anytime I talk about this, I almost get emotional, because I've gotten to a point where I feel like he sees me more. He knows me too well. Men would disappoint you. Men would, even the people that you think know you so well, would go stand somewhere and say things that might hurt you. But I've gotten to a point where I know that if everything around me fails, I have one thing I can lean on and one thing I can go back to, and that is Jesus. So because of that, I'm not really scared about anything. I'm not really moved, because I know that even if it all drops, I have something that I can stand on, and I have somebody that I can go to and say, hey, Jesus, it's all falling, come through for me. And he's going to show up in his own perfect way. So that's the kind of relationship I have. I have that vibe with him. No, he's my buddy. I'm like, man, we need to do this. Man, I'm getting nervous. Help me. I'm going for this interview. Help me. I'm doing this social media thing. I feel like giving up. Like right now, I can't do this anymore. If it's your will, give me strength to keep it up. I remember in my weight loss journey, there were so many times where I got stuck. Like my scale wasn't moving, and I went back to eating certain foods. And there were times where, like, for 3 days, I hadn't worked out. And in those times, that was when I always went to him. Anytime I feel stuck, it's called the plateau moment, where the weight loss journey just plateaus. You don't feel like doing anything. And I think I did a lot of recordings with those times. I always prayed. I'm like, Jesus, give me strength. Give me strength, give me strength. And anytime I prayed like that, in the following days or instantly, I got the strength to recover and to keep running. Yeah.
Miss Wisdom. Hey.
I think my name is working.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's definitely working.
Thank you.
So much wisdom has come out of today's experience, and I thank you for sharing your time with me. I truly feel blessed to be able to have this, because, like we mentioned earlier, I do feel like it's through these conversations. This is why, like, I'm always like eager to have them, because I'm like, oh, what am I going to learn from God, through this conversation? And what happened at the end, I think it's important, because when you talk about the plateau and that things aren't working and you had to, like, pretty much re-up, I think that is some of the key of us having this relationship with God, is like, just like any other relationship, if we just like go to somebody and just like, oh, give me this, and then we don't really nurture it, or consistently want to be together and learn more about our partner, then what type of relationship would we identify that as?
That's true.
So to close out, and one thing I wanted to say, because earlier you said the key words. You said hurt people, and my goal is to go in the other direction. I feel like free people will free people, right?
Wow.
You know that hurt people. Everything I'm like, shift it. But you are like a free person that's freeing people. And I couldn't find a shirt. I had to hurry up and do this. I was like, I just put this one. Glad that you said it here, because what you said in the beginning is just that you wanted to get other people to the weight loss goal, and that's freeing people, because you got free. You can free other people. And so I hope that anyone who's hearing this message or spent this time with us and wants to be free through your avenue will connect with you. And with that being said, there's this thing I try to communicate as best as I can. I'll get better at it.
Okay.
But you know how when you go online and you are like typing keywords, like you're trying to find something, maybe now it's like ChatGPT or AI, whatever, but you're trying to get to a result, or you're trying to get to a certain article or website. We know we can just type in your website. We know that we can just type in your handle. But what are people actually searching? If you could, like, shift to that perspective of like, if you're your audience, what are some of the keywords that they will be searching to find you? And I think it might be unique to, you know, who you are as well as what you're interested in. But how would you, and I guess it's like, you know, just give a few examples before we close out and then actually give your handles and how people can find you.
Okay.
I know the assignments here. I got you, George.
I think for now it's gonna be my name. I think it's gonna be my name, Dorcas Adu Adjei. I think when you put in my name, it comes on Google. You're gonna get my Instagram account and everything. And if you're on Instagram, but if you're on Google, I don't really know because I haven't tried to search myself. But maybe if you put in any weight loss content, I might pop up in one way or the other.
Oh, it doesn't have to be absolute. It's almost like, you know, finding God through weight loss or, you know,
okay,
like,
so that's what you mean.
yeah, like a creative way of thinking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. I
So
get it.
that makes sense for you. Like when you're describing your audience, when they're searching for you, they are probably using this type of
Girl, you
statement.
made me remember this. Okay, so I think for me, I know our conversation wasn't around that, right? But I would love it to be something like creating your own body.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, creating your own body. Because I think after I lost the weight, I know our time is over. Let me say this. After I lost the weight, there was time where I felt bad because I felt like I wasn't giving God a much. I wasn't giving him a lot of reverence. And you know, one thing that he told me, he was like, "Girl, relax. If all the praise is coming to you, it was so clear. This was so clear. It was like my mind, but I just knew that this was coming from God. He was like, I was like, God, do you think that I'm not letting people know you helped me with the weight loss enough? Are you angry at me that I'm not mentioning you a lot? And I was like, no. I'm okay if you get the praise because at the end of the day, I want people to understand that I have put in them a creative ability and a creative power to create their own bodies. Let me take that again. Let me take that again.
Oh, Miss Wisdom.
So I was like, God, are you angry with me that I'm not talking much about the fact that you helped me with the weight loss? And he was like, no, I'm actually okay that all the praise and even all the glory is coming to you. Because then what this does is it helps people know that inside them, I have put in them the creative ability to recreate their own body, recreate their own minds, and recreate their own life. And that is what I want you to go out there and preach to the world. And I know you and I know your heart. And at the end of the day, I know the glory will all come back to me. So relax. And if the praise is coming, take it because I myself am cheering you on. I was like, period. Really? This is something that I never, because I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm not talking much about God. I'm not. And this is just what he told me. I was like, wow. And I was like, this is it. I tell the world that they can create their body. Tell the world that the creative ability I had to create Adam, to create the earth, I have given that to them. And I want them to walk in that.
What? Why did I feel that like I felt that?
You did.
Why did I feel that like I felt that? How do you get when you get a revelation like that and you say God told you? Did you say God told you? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
What does that sound like? Is it your voice, but you know that it's not your words, or do you actually? And I know some people don't actually hear God, but like when you say God is speaking or God told you that, like. And it felt like God told you, like the way the world came together.
Girl, the reason why, because I know myself too well, and I know that this is not going to be my word. Like I know, and sometimes and mostly it comes like your own mind thoughts. Like these things, like when words come from God, it comes like you just made it up. But like I could differentiate. Nah, this is coming from God because I know myself. I know what I can say, but the way this is being put, it's right from God. Yeah.
Just needed that confirmation because that's exactly how I would communicate it. Because I know that it's like I know it's me, but I know that it's not me. Like because again, we're going back to the honesty, right? Authentic and truth. Like I didn't say that, you know. Like I couldn't have. I know myself. I barely know a lot of things. So thank you so much for your time. If there's anything else you wanted to say before we close out, this will be the time. Other than that, we'll be on our way.
The last words I'm going to say is I know that I advocate for weight loss, but also to everybody or to whoever, I just want to say your weight doesn't define you and be confident in your body. You are much better you are more of than just what the weight says, than just what the scale says. And if you are going through any sort of depression, or if you don't feel good enough just because of how you look, I just want to tell you that you could gain your confidence by talking to God. Just tell him that you need to be confident and he'll help you, and go out more, talk to people. Just don't just stay stuck in your room and just feel depressed and crying all day. There's so much in the world. There is a lot of things out there waiting for you. Go for walks, go for coffee dates on your own, read a book, listen to music, do little dances for yourself, bond with your family, just be out there. Don't just stay there, because time is moving and time waits for no man. And just enjoy the life as much as you can.
There you have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
With Miss Wisdom.
Oh my
Until
God.
next time, everyone, hold on to you as much as you can. Hold on to your health, your well-being, and your mind. Be mindful. Bye.
Breathe. Breathe.